Hey guys, Super Godzilla Final Wars here, and today I am back. So we're back doing more of the What If anime Godzilla trilogy, or whatever. This time we're moving on to the final theory of what if Space Godzilla was in the Earth Godzilla trilogy. Now, without further ado, let's move on, shall we? For starters, these events would have probably taken place after the events of Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Now the question remains, what would this fourth Earth Godzilla movie would have been called? I'm pretty sure it would have been called rather one of these two names. Godzilla, the ultimate battle for the Earth, or Godzilla, War or of the monsters. And we gotta think, Space Godzilla, he did not die in Godzilla the Planet Eater. If he died, then we would not be talking about this. But since he didn't, and since he fell back before Godzilla Earth can kill the Space Godzilla, Space Godzilla fled. He went to go destroy a few more planets. We also got to think he also destroyed the mothership, which also gave him more power. The more power that he gets, the more stronger and more powerful he becomes. And since Space Godzilla destroyed the mothership, we gotta think, Nephthys is the only exit around. And with Nephthys being the only exit around, this makes things more difficult for him. For example, doing the ritual without the help of his people. And we also got to think, Nephthys, he probably did the ritual several times when it came to summoning Ghidorah. But this time, and he had a bunch of other exits there to help him. Or at least he knows what the ritual is about. But this time, Nephthys is the last of his kind. He's the only exit that is on planet Earth. So now it's up to him to summon Ghidorah. But the question remains, will he do it? Can Nephthys bring bring Ghidorah on Earth by himself? Yes. And if you wonder what I mean by yes, he would have convinced more than just a handful of the survivors. First, to give praise to Ghidorah. This means more offerings, more sacrifices. Now we just say only rather 10 or 15 survivors that are left. I don't know how many survivors that survived in Godzilla City on the battle in Planet Eater, but I could say that there's probably at least around 40 or around 30. I can't really tell. But that just leaves Team Haru to rather only 15 or 10 or maybe 20. The survivors left. All of them give praise to Ghidorah, and Ghidorah takes the sacrifices. Probably a few things that happened in the Planet Eater would have happened in this movie. Except now, after a few days of recovering and rest, Space Godzilla is now making his way back towards Earth, and Godzilla sensed this. He's now up and ready, and he's ready for round 2. Except this time, they're going to have a third player coming into the party. This will be more like a giant monsters all-out attack. Two space monsters versus one Earth monster. But at the same time, these two space monsters are also fighting each other as well. We say that Space Godzilla is the first one to arrive to the scene. And immediately, the fight between Space Godzilla and Godzilla Earth begins. Anyways, sorry about that. So Space Godzilla and Godzilla Earth have their rematch. It doesn't take long before Ghidorah shows up. Both Space Godzilla and Godzilla Earth would have been confused what's going on. They would have completely cut their fight short. Or postpone it, I guess, or cancel their fight in the meantime while they're trying to figure out what's going on. Until they see Ghidorah, Godzilla Earth would have used his attacks. And just like in the movie. And just like in the movie, the Godzilla Earth's attacks will be completely unaffected. Except this time, Space Godzilla even tries to lend a hand. Space Godzilla's attacks are completely unaffected. That's when Godzilla Earth starts crying out for help when Ghidorah's biting onto him. Space Godzilla would have made his way towards Godzilla Earth trying to help him. However, he gets grabbed by another head. The third head just looks at, or neck or whatever. The third head would have looked at the two at the same time. The same conversation between Haru and Netes would have probably continued, but the more things to look at is Space Godzilla trying to help Godzilla Earth. Godzilla Earth and Space Godzilla Earth would have been trying to come up with a plan on how they're going to do this, how they're going to fight back. Until Mothra arrived. Mothra arrived to help the two Gojis. She would have helped Space Godzilla and Godzilla to fight back against Ghidorah. Mothra gives both Space Godzilla and Godzilla Earth half of her power were to fight back against Ghidorah, be able to touch him and hurt him. This is also more like a little tie. This is also more like, God, I cannot speak. This is kind of at the same time connected to the theory of what if Mothra survived. What if Mothra was actually in Godzilla the Planet Eater? The three monsters would have worked together, and at the same time, well, we already know what happened when Netes tricked Haru, so when Ghidorah gets into his full form, Godzilla Earth turns into Super Godzilla. Well, again, we're not just to help of Mothra, but to help of Space Godzilla. The three monsters would have immediately killed Ghidorah. And at the same time, Space Godzilla locates Netes, uses his powers, and kills him. Godzilla Earth and Space Godzilla would have looked at each other, understanding that they are both very powerful beings. So instead, they can live in peace. They can coexist. And we can even get a little hint that Maya, or one of the twins, says something like this. They have decided to coexist. They're both very powerful beings, just like Mothra. They are no longer enemies. They are brothers. Space Godzilla would have had his side of the planet, and Godzilla Earth would have had his side. These two Gojis would have continued to patrol on the planet, making sure that there are no threats to their claim as the kings of the planet. At the same time, Mothra would have been assisting them at the same time. We can even say that natives start to worship Space Godzilla as their god. And at the same time, we can also see that most of the natives will worship Godzilla, Earth, as their god. So that's it. That's it for that. What if theory? That's it for the what if Space Godzilla was in the Earth Godzilla trilogy. I would say this film, both of these theories, and if Space Godzilla was actually in the Earth Godzilla trilogy, and if there was a fourth film on this trilogy, and not just that, if the theory that is said here actually came true to the movie, then this would have made this Earth Godzilla trilogy way, way better, probably. If the movie did not just focus on the human characters. It would have been a both story between both humans and monsters. Probably a few things that remained in the main timeline or in the main movies, they would probably still be there, but more like less shocking, but more dramatic. And plus, with Space Godzilla at first being enemies to Godzilla Earth, but now becoming more like an ally, like a brother to Godzilla Earth, and Godzilla Earth giving him a territory of his own on the planet, that would have been pretty cool to think about it. Or to imagine, at least. Anyways, that's it for this little theory video, so I hope you guys like this theory video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye!